What do you like about reading, Andrew?
I like when my favorite series from when I was a kid, The Bulgariad by David Eddings, finally makes it onto Kindle just like a week before Christmas, and I bought all 5 books and I read them in like 3 days.
And I didn't see you for 3 days.
No, you didn't.
I was worried about the Christmas festivities.
There were no gifts for anybody.
No.
What do you like about reading, Crystal?
I like a challenge.
And that is a good segue for our first podcast of 2015, isn't it?
It is, yes. Good times.
What did we read this week, Crystal?
We read The Composer by Lee Olds.
And how did we find this book?
It's actually a request. Lee contacted me through Goodreads and asked if I would give his book a read. And I said, why, yes, I will.
And what's this book about?
To be completely honest,
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure.
Sounds like this book was a little bit different.
It was. It definitely was. I can tell you what I got from it or what I think it was about.
Okay.
It's about a young woman named Natalie. She's a musical genius. And the novel takes you through the journey of her life and how she's searching or wanting to become a composer and how she goes about trying to do that.
But it's coming at it from a very specific way of looking at the world, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. It is coming, or the book is focused on a metaphysical point of view or way of looking at the world, which is something that I am completely not familiar with.
Music part, very comfortable with because that's your background. Metaphysical part, not so much.
Exactly.
I guess before we explain what metaphysics is, we need to liven up the mood, set the setting. So what we're going to do is, starting through the magic of podcasting, we're going to play Schubert's String Quintet in C major in the background right now.
I feel like I should start talking like a classical music station.
I feel like I'm in 1850s Germany right now. Which is a good place to start to explain metaphysics, because we admit we had to look this up and to really understand the point of view that the book's coming from. But, and this is very simply put, metaphysics says it's a way of looking at the world and breaking it down to the core components by saying what is there and what is it like. And it's really important to say that metaphysics is a very descriptive way, so it's deductive. You need a mind to look at it. It's not empirical. So if I were to hold up an apple and say, what do I have in my hand? It's an apple. Okay, well, what's an apple? How do I know it's an apple? What's it like, and describe it? And then I wouldn't be able to take that and write a computer algorithm that could describe an apple. I know an apple when I see it, and that's a metaphysical way of looking at the world.
Which is, from that description alone, is not an easy topic to convey or write fiction about, in my opinion.
No, it's very dense stuff, and I guess looking at the work that Lee Olds there wrote, what was too hot? What was there just too much of?
Sort of another great segue, Andrew. We explained what metaphysics is.
Mostly to ourselves.
Mostly over and over again.
Yes.
But, we got a definition of it and it made the topic clearer.
Yeah.
What I found with The Composer is that it assumes that you know what metaphysics is. And it assumes that you know music in great detail. It does not spend any time explaining those concepts to the reader, which in my case for the metaphysical aspects made it quite difficult to read through because I didn't quite understand the concept.
And this is important because this forms the main character, the composer, Natalie's world view, that she views the world this way, and all of her internal dialogue.
Right, so it made her a little confusing to me. In addition, it didn't really give me a good idea of the setting. There wasn't a lot of description in terms of where in time we were.
Yeah.
Other than in the description of the book that I got. So, if anything, and this is personal opinion because clearly Lee Olds didn't write it in the way that I would have liked it, but a little more explanation and context would have gone a long way.
I guess there's maybe a couple different ways that it could have been approached. You could say that, this book is for this audience, therefore that word is right in the description. It's clearly laid out. This is...
Oh, yeah, it's not a surprise.
It's not a surprise.
Shock.
Do you just say that this is my audience and this is who I'm going for? I need them to have a certain base knowledge. Or do you introduce a character? Like in this case, the father might have been a really good way of introducing why he made a daughter who thinks this way.
I think it really depends. I mean, this book was clearly written at a higher level. There are free chapters online that someone could read to get a better idea of what the book is going to be about. Ultimately, I think it's in the hands of the author, and if they're writing for a specific audience, as Lee Olds clearly is and did, then that's the direction you go.
What was too cold?
I think, and I've already sort of touched on this, but because I didn't have context for what metaphysics is, I didn't quite get Natalie.
Okay.
She starts off as a young girl, so some of her questions and her thoughts and the way that she reacts makes sense for a young girl. But as she gets older into her teens and early 20s, and she starts to have these relationships with different men, I kind of got a little frustrated with her because she came off as being rather cold, uncaring, sort of aloof.
Yeah.
Detached in her own head. And while I think the two are related, it didn't really draw me into the story because I wanted to relate to her.
Well, she is a virtuoso in that she has the prevailing worldview, but she also has the music piece. How do you kind of get more warmth from that as a reader? And
in some cases her questioning did come off as being confused, as she genuinely didn't get certain situations. But again, it came off as rather cold.
Yeah. And
I would have liked a little bit more warmth from her in any sort of context.
If you were to read the book a second time, how would that change your view? Knowing what you know now, knowing the character, knowing the arc as you do, what would you be looking for to pick up this time around?
I think more the relation between what's happening in her life and the thoughts that she's having, and really paying more attention to the thoughts as opposed to the overarching idea of the story. And then, to be honest, a little less attention on the musical details, because those were what I liked the most.
Is that what they got just right?
Yeah, Lee definitely got the musical aspects just right, and
which, coming from you, is a very high compliment.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly knows his music and knows how to describe it correctly, and I love those parts because, I've been out of the musical world for years now, but it's always nice to go back and read something and be like, oh, I totally know what you're talking about. This is awesome. I just wish, again, I felt that way about the metaphysical aspects.
So going back to kind of the topic we were talking at the beginning, the metaphysical view, if we take a metaphysical look at Natalie, like, what is Natalie and how do we know? What's she like?
The overarching theme is that she's lost.
Yeah.
She's just absolutely searching for herself through this novel, and it's quite a sad and tragic story. She is a tragic figure, and
there's no spoiler alert. This is revealed in the first couple pages, but it doesn't end well for her.
It doesn't end well for her. So she is quite the tragic figure who doesn't sort of fulfill herself. We don't get a completed arc for our heroine.
Who do you recommend reads this book?
My answer is going to be a little bit different today.
Okay.
Usually I give sort of a generic, all of the ladies. But for this book, I
don't even know why I asked sometimes.
I know. I'd highly recommend, if metaphysics interests you, if music interests you, or you want to learn more about both of those topics, then this is the book for you.
And where do you find The Composer by Lee Olds?
It is on Amazon, both Amazon.com and Amazon.ca.
Lee, thank you very much for reaching out to us to review The Composer. We did enjoy reading it, and it was really a very different way of looking at what could have been a very simple, very linear story. It was very subtext filled. And for those of you who are also looking to have your books reviewed, by all means, keep emailing us, keep tweeting us, keep reaching out to us through the website. Speaking of that, Crystal.
Yes, Andrew.
Where can you find us?
We are on Twitter at Everything's Temp. We are on Facebook, Everything's Temporary, and you can find us at www.everythingstemporary.com. And we've got a nice new design up on our website, so please check us out.
That was the Goldilocks and the 3K. Oh, there's one more thought.
Also,
yes,
email us at info@everythingstemporary.com if you want sort of a direct way to get your book in our hands.
And that was this week's Goldilocks and the Three Cares, the podcast where we look at a direct published work, what's too hot, what's too cold, what's just right. Everybody, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Crystal. Until next time, keep reading.
Crystal doesn't know I'm doing this, but during today's podcast, she went ahead and made this sound. So let's listen to an outtake, uncensored, and then censored with enjoy.
Welcome, everybody. This is a hell of a day. Where are you walking to right now? I'm having a hell of a time.
It's a hell of a snowstorm out there.
Can we actually
and
post this? It's hella word.
I'm going to beep it.
It's hella swear word. Welcome, everybody. This is a hell of a day. Where are you walking to right now? I'm having a hell of a time.